Now, so far you have seen what is an HTML, what are tags, how many types of tags are here, what are the formatting tags. Now, let us see how the basic structure of the HTML code will be written, how it should be written, and what are the parts of it. You will be understanding it clearly in the coming slide. Structured HTML tags are the building blocks of the web pages. These tags are used to define the layout. So what are you trying to do here? You're trying to design the layout of your web page. Okay. Structure of your web page will be given with the help of these tags only. So first of all, let us learn the basic HTML page, how to design a basic HTML page. The first is your doc type. It should be in these angular brackets only, followed by an exclamation mark and followed by this title called as doc type. This tag is used to declare the document type. It should always be placed at the beginning of the HTML document. It is one of the mostly used, means the content of it, the usage of it, you will be getting to know when you use it onto the browser. So when you run the code, that time you will be understanding it. The content of it is, meaning of it is, it will not be displayed onto the website, but it's important for writing at the beginning of your web page or at the tags. Basically, the code will be beginning from here with the angular brackets inside it. The name of the tag is HTML. This is the first and foremost HTML tag, I can say, or it is acting as a frame of the web page. The frame of the web page we will be having from the opening of the HTML. It will be ended at the closing of the HTML. In between this complete frame or the block, I can say, you're having so many other sub bodies of it that can be identified as the head tag, the body tag, and so on. So basically, to define the structure of the HTML, there should be a frame where we will be writing. So what I was telling is, first we will be writing the tag as doc type. The next tag is your HTML tag. This is acting as a frame. The opening of and the closing of the HTML tags will indicate the beginning of the code, we can say. Okay. And in between this opening and the closing of this HTML, you are having various subtags called as head section, body section. You can easily remember it by the human body, I can say, as our head is at the top and the body followed by the body. Likewise, is your structure of the HTML is also available. So if you see here, in the head section, we basically give the title of the web page. Whatever the titling and all will be given, it will be given in this section of the web page. Okay, followed by the body section. Here is the main content of the web page that should be displayed on the web page, such as your textual data, image, or any other kind of data that we want to give, that we will give basically in your body section. Now, this is one of the example. As I told you that first we will be using this doc type. Okay. It is one of the, I can say, as a header tag of this HTML, we can say. It's basically meant for documentation type and followed by this frame. I was talking about this opening of the HTML followed by the closing. This is actually acting as a block, we can say, or a framework. Okay. It's a frame in which we are having the upper part of the frame as your head section. Inside the head, again, it is a paired tag. Inside the head section, we are having the title of the head, okay, where we give the title of the pages. And inside the body, whatever the content we want to display. My first heading, we will write my first paragraph with the P tags we are writing. And if at all we want to close the body section, we will be using the closing tag of the body. And this is how the design or the structure of the web page, first HTML page, we can design in this format. Hope it is clear to you. So each of the content is indicated or explained to you separately. This doc type is basically started using in the HTML5 version onwards. Before that, we were not using this doc type as a first tag that we will be declaring into our web pages. Now, this element will help us to identify the element that is as acting as the root element of the HTML page. Okay, this is the root, and these are the subparts of it, or we can also say it as meta information about the web page, where we will be giving basically the header section or the titling of the web pages into this head part. And title as specifies the web page, whatever the title of the web page should be, thus titling will be given into it. Next is what? Your body section. This is also another element of your HTML tag, where it contain the headings, the paragraphs, the images, the hyperlinks, tables, list, frames, whatever content you want to display onto your web page, we will be keeping everything into this body section. Okay. Now, this H1 you have seen, it's the largest heading, and P tag is used for the paragraph. And as I told you, H1 to H6, the indication of the headings you can say, okay, in the format of as H1 is the largest heading, likewise it followed as H6 to be the smallest or H7 to be the most smallest one. So, what is an HTML element? Element is something that is defined by starting tag, some content into it, and the ending tag. You can see here the tag name, the content goes here, and the closing. This is called as a complete element. This is one of the example of my element, H1 element. It is having the opening tag, closing tag, followed by the content that you want to display. Similarly, element P, element H1, element body. So all the tags that are enclosed in this angular brackets, those are the elements of this HTML. So you can see few examples of it. Start tag is this one, ending tag is this element content. Okay. BR, as it is an unpaired tag. These are the paired tags. H1, P are the paired tags where it is having both the opening and the closing of it. Whereas the BR tag stands for the breaking of the line, which doesn't have any of the closing of it. It's stand upon alone. It comes under the category of the unpaired tags. Now, what are the, so far you have learned the basics of your HTML. Now, what principles you must be following for designing the websites or the web pages? So, these are the most important principles you can say for designing the websites, web pages. First of all, so the principles of this web design, visual hierarchy. So, the visual effect, what should be the color, how it should be effective onto the web page. The color should be so bright or so dull. Everything should be uh, clarified while designing the website. Next is simplicity. The web pages or the websites must be simple. It should be user, means when you look with your eyes, it should be more effective and user friendly. It should not be very, very dark and bright such that your eyes will get irritated with it. So those principles you need to follow when designing the web page. Next is consistency. There should be some consistent amount of information we can say that will be linked between the two different web pages, and responsiveness inside the design you can say. Okay. Next is usability, accessibility, readability. All these are the principles that you must be following while designing the user friendliness. These are the basic principles that you need to follow while designing the web pages. Okay. Now let's come at the attributes. What is an attribute? I'll give one of the common example. We have so many students in the classroom. Each student, I'll consider it to be an element of that particular class. Okay. So there is a class of students and each student is acting as an element. And each student will have their own attributes. For example, few of the hobbies are in sports activities, few of the hobbies are in reading, writing, noveling, okay. Few of their hobbies can be acting, okay, and XYZ, XY, etc., etc. we can say. So what are these attributes? Attributes are nothing but the features of that particular person. Suppose I'll ask a student, with roll number 1 and so name. Okay, let us take as Rajesh as a student who is holding the roll number 1. If you want to identify that student, you will be looking into the attributes of it. Means, how is the performance of Rajesh in the class? How the person will be identified in the premises of the college or the class? These are the attributes that are defining that person. Yes or no? Similarly, here whatever the elements you have seen so far, example font is there, H1 is there, P tag is there, those are our elements. These elements individually they will be having their own attributes on their own. So that will be helping you to identify how to use that data and what can be few more additional features of it. We can give it to you. Okay. So that is nothing but attribute. It provides basically the additional information. So basically, but the person with the roll number 1, Rajesh, we knew it by name and the number. But what about the features of it? How Rajesh became so familiar in the classroom, so familiar in the campus? That defines the additional information of Rajesh. Okay, so those are nothing but the attributes. All HTML elements can have their attributes, yes. As each individual student in the class is having their individual attributes, has their own abilities and features, right? Similarly, in the case of elements as well. What does attributes provide you? Attributes provide you the additional information about the elements. Attributes are always specified in the start tag and it will not be having any data in the closing tag. Okay, you can see here this is followed by a pair called as name and value. So this is an attribute as name and its value. Now example href, it's acting as a hyperlink reference purpose. This is one of the attribute of a tag. A is an anchor tag that is used for defining the hyperlinks, and its attribute is href, which will give the reference of the page that is linked to it. For example, you can see A is an anchor tag. In the starting tag only, we are writing the attribute and its value. This is the name of the attribute and this is the value of it. For example, I gave the reference of this Osmania University website, detailing of it, and we are linking that website to it. Okay. So in the closing tag, you won't be having any of the attributes. You will be having it in the opening tag only. Another example is your SRC attribute that will be in your image tag. SRC is one of the attribute that is available in your image tag, where we will be giving the source information from where the information of the image is appearing. Okay, from where the image is available onto the browser, how it should be. So those are the attributes that are defining the path of the image, from where we need to fetch it, which folder, which drive we need to fetch that particular image. So we will be giving the source address of it. Okay, so image tag will be considering that into it. So now coming into the styles. What are styles basically? As you can see the examples of it, we are having various styles available for each of the sentence. So this style of the text may be the content of the text in the same font, but the style of it is in a different way. One is in the red color, blue color, and black color. So far, few of them can be small in size and the other one can be bigger in size. So these are the definitions of the attributes. Styles are nothing but which are adding few more additional features upon the elements of the tags. Okay. These styles will be used for providing the element more enhancement, we can say. Actually, we are having font as an element of the HTML. To that, we are giving the color. To that, we are giving the size of it. To that, we are adding the size of the value of it. Okay. What should be the size of it? What should be the forecolor of it? What should be the font name? You can even change the font name. The font names can also be differing from one another. So all these are the styles of the HTML elements. You can see here, this is the basic syntax that we are using. Tag name, style is the keyword that we are going to use, followed by the property and its value. So this is a CSS attribute or the property, as CSS stands for styling the sheets, okay, giving an additional feature and enhancement to the web page by various colors and effects. So this is one of the property of your CSS, where we give the CSS value only, like the color is there, size of that is there, everything comes under the style attribute. Now, revise back what all we have studied so far. So we have understood about the HTML, what is it, why it is used for, it's a building block for the web designing and the websites. Whatever the whole and soul content of the web page will be there, it will be available into it. And basically, we describe the web pages by using your HTML, and the presentation or appearance of it will be maintained by your CSS. Functionality and the behavior of the web page will be designed by your JavaScript. So all together is forming your web page or the website. Now, what is the hypertext over here? It refers to that connection between the web pages, I can say. There are so many pages. As I told you the example of your notebook. In a notebook, you have so many pages. Each one page is connected to the next. Okay. So likewise, hypertext is nothing but connection between the web pages that we are maintaining into it, or you can also act as a linking between the web pages, you can say, that is acting as a fundamental aspect of the web. Okay. Connection is important. Without the connectivity of the web pages, you cannot maintain the connectivity into the browser, or you cannot fetch the detailings of it. Now, when we are uploading this content onto the internet and linking the content of the pages we created by the people, okay, you will become the active participant in the www. So what all the contents of the websites are there, whichever is mostly used websites, they will be having certain ranking. So with the help of it, the particular website will become more activated onto the browser, and it will be featured as many times as it is run or as it is used by so many people. HTML uses, what does it use? It uses a markup language. We use markup as a term for annotating the text, image, or other content that we want to display onto the browser. Example, I can say you can display the head section, the title, the body, the header, the footer, the paragraph, the font, the image. There are so many XYZ terms that we can display, and each one of them is identified as elements of the HTML page. Okay. So you can see here HTML text formatting. As I told you previously, we have seen B tag, I tag, subscript and superscript tags are also there. That will help you. Few of the mathematical expressions are there. Few of the chemistry expressions are there that we will be using. You want to display onto the website. So everything is there in the text formatting for you, where how you want to design the text to be in the form of that bold tag, okay, italicize it, subscript or the superscript. So these are the formatting tags. You can see B stands for bold, S for strong for some important text, I for italic text, EM for emphasized, marked text. For the smaller text, you can use small, deleted text, inserted text. Sub is used for subscript and SUP is used for the superscript text. All these are the basic formatting text of your HTML tags.